Undertaker gift for the ride or die.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Bolt up, baby. Bolt up. Amari and Hampton, baby. Number 8 on the field, number 1 in your hearts. Fantasy ride or die. Suck it, haters. Daniel Moultrie, the ankles will be sweating due to his multiple victory laps around Hampton. They won't be sweating. Oh, no, these ankles are ready to run.
They're in good shape.
There's been no victory laps. They're fresh.
They're very fresh.
Yeah.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Connor Rogers, Matthew Berry, Jay Croucher. Yes, a nicely done victory lap from Matthew yesterday, but today we are here to help those that need help. It is Waiver Wire Tuesday.
Mainly you. We'll get into that later.
I'm sure we will. Yeah,
Super Bowl hangover right now?
You have no idea. Look, so crazy Monday Night Football game, tons of Monday Night miracles. Whether it was Jahmyr Gibbs or Dave Montgomery or Mark Andrews on America's benches. A lot of people coming through. Troy Olsen saying, this is my favorite daily show. I appreciate that. Not to be confused with The Daily Show.
Right.
We're a daily show. We're a show that's on every day. That's right. That's way to look at the schedule, Connor. Nice job there. We have lots to get to. People need their waivers. Some people more than others.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Not me. Not him.
No, I don't
need me. Sure.
We'll get into that.
For sure.
Electric Monday Night Football game, Lions-Ravens. We're going to cover all of that later. But let's jump right into waiver wires because that's what we do every Tuesday for you, the regulars that are here with us. And, of course, we start with running backs.
I don't want people to feel exclusionary. I don't want people to feel like they can't join.
You're either in or you're out.
Yeah, no, you can join in the reindeer games. Like, just come in. The water's warm. And there you go. All right.
Trey Benson with a tweet for James Conner. Got you for life 6, I promise. Trey Benson ready to take over this backfield after a devastating injury to James Conner. We got to hear from the quarterback of the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, on the run game moving forward.
Not only is he my teammate, I feel like that's a brother of mine. Just see him go down like that. You never want to see that. I understand it's part of the game, but it's not what it's not ideal. All the work that he puts in and just who he is as a person. You don't want to see him get hurt like that. We got to continue to go. We got to continue to get better, and we got to be able to run the ball.
Waiver wire. That was Kyler Murray, a very defeated Kyler Murray, very upset Kyler Murray. But it is Trey Benson time in Arizona. As you look at what he's done through the first 3 weeks, obviously the snap rate skyrocketed in week 3 with the Conner injury. Matthew, that's not going to slow down anytime soon, especially against the Seahawks this week, where he is now the RB1 of this team. Yeah, unfortunate James Conner. We love James, much like his teammates, friend of the show, been a fantasy stalwart for so many years. But so we wish him a speedy recovery. But yes, it is Trey Benson time in Arizona, and more importantly, this is one of those guys. Like if you've been saving your number 1 waiver pick, if you've been saving all your fab money, this is the kind of player you go blow any of that on, because he's potentially a league winner. He is going to get the majority of the work for a pretty good offense. Not an amazing offense, but an above-average offense. Following James Conner's injury, he played 87% of the snaps. He had an 87% snap rate, at 50% route participation. On the season, he's averaging 6 yards per carry. There's a little bit inconsistent, Connor. Amari DiMaccardo is going to be the third down back. But still, Benson's going to get the majority of the work. Again, on a better-than-average offense. Don't know that I love the matchup this week against at home to Seattle. Then they're at Indy. Then they're home to Green Bay. Then it's a bye. So the next 4 weeks, I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, we're telling you, go pick up Trey Benson, go spend all your fab, everything like that. But just understand that it may be a little rocky coming over. Although I will say, listen, the Browns ran on the Packers last week. Quinshon Judkins. And again, just even if it's not the most efficient workload in the next couple of weeks because the lineups they're playing, Jay, the volume is going to be there for Trey Benson. As you see this one from Cameron Thompson, if I'm good at running back, he has Bijan and Bucky, good for you, and need wide receiver, would Benson for Ladd make sense? 1,000%. I honestly think that's a great trade. If you have Bijan and Bucky, yeah, I would do that trade in a heartbeat. On a great situation.
Yep. I'd prefer Ladd. I mean, this Cardinals offense, look, Trey Benson is going to be the featured guy in a run-heavy offense that has Kyler Murray at quarterback, which is still, for Kyler's sins, it's still a cheat code to have a running quarterback like that for rushing efficiency. And they have to run the ball because no one on the team can catch outside of Trey McBride. I don't know what's going on with Marvin Harrison Jr. or the rest of that receiving room.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a question of what type of ceiling can Trey Benson get to. I'm a little skeptical that he's going to be like a legit RB1 or anything like that, but he's going to be a guy that you're starting every week.
I don't know if their line is good enough for him to be an RB1, but the sheer volume is. I mean, this is a team in rushing attempts last year, 11th when you look at yards, 7th when you look at yards per attempt, 2nd. So like the offense structure, there is ability there to run the ball. And Benson's talented. Just because he's been buried, don't sleep on how talented this guy is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some inconsistency. Like Lawrence and I have talked about this before, but Lawrence and I were talking to an offensive coach on the Cardinals, and we were asking him this is at the combine. We're asking him sort of like, hey, what's the deal with Benson? And they're like, listen, if you call a play that is supposed to get you 6 yards, Trey Benson either gets you 20 or like 3. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, like he's always trying to break one, which is because he's so explosive and that's exciting. But I think it's one of the reasons why, at least initially, they went with a veteran Connor who was able to execute it. But it does feel like, as we saw Benson's snaps increase, that there's a little bit more of a maturity and a little bit more patience to Benson's game, and including to the great breakaway speed and power. So we do think Benson is very talented, to your point. And the other thing that I think is interesting here, right? So you know about Trey McBride, you know about Marvin Harrison. Like if I said, okay, who's third on this team in target share, it would probably take you a couple guesses before you got to Trey Benson. He's got a 12.5% target share so far this year in a part-time role. He's been playing behind James Conner, and yet still he's third on the team in targets. And so now that he's going to be playing almost every down, well, I mean, again, Mercado is going to be playing, DeMarcado, I should say, is going to be playing some third downs, but still, anyway, an RB2 for the rest of the season with some RB1 potential upside in specific weeks. Ryan Scott asks on YouTube, how do you compare Benson between Arizona's line versus an Ashton Genty Connor Rodgers?
Well, at least you've seen the Arizona line be able to run block at times, where the Raiders this year have not had one good performance of it. So I think the problem we have with the Raiders right now, too, that you can't say about Arizona through the first couple of weeks, is the Raiders have been playing in pass-heavy scripts.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in second halves where it's like, okay, time to throw the ball a million times, where Arizona, yes, they've beat up on some cupcake competition. They've had a soft starting schedule. But Arizona, at least there's balance in the scripts, or at least run heavier.
Yeah, I would still take Genty because he's Ashton Genty.
Sure, no, without a doubt.
Benson
but
is Trey Benson.
It's crazy we're having the combo.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just worry, like, what do you think is wrong with this Arizona offense, Connor? Because when I watch these games, they're just so stuck in the mud. There's just nothing explosive. And when there is something explosive, Marvin Harrison drops it.
Right.
So I just don't know. They don't seem to be in rhythm. Even last year, they were more, I think, effective than they have been this year.
Don't they feel like the NFC's version of Jacksonville, where you have all these big hopes, like Marvin Harrison Jr. is out there, Kyler Murray's awesome.
Should work, and then it doesn't because the quarterback is underwhelming.
Because of the lack of rhythm. That was the conversation we had with Jacksonville yesterday. It feels like that with Arizona at times. But I don't know. I still have belief because there's so much talent.
Kyler drives me crazy.
I mean, drives everybody
He's
crazy.
so annoying.
Kyler drives me crazy. Like, is Kyler Murray the worst good player in the NFL? If that makes any sense at all. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly
he's
what you
the
mean.
worst good player in the NFL.
Yeah.
He drives me up a wall, and like I wish I could go back in time and take back my ride or die from last year.
To be fair, he got completely screwed by his receivers against San Francisco. He played well enough to win that game. He's a fine quarterback, but he's a league average quarterback, I think, at this point, where there were hopes that he would be, a real needle mover, a top 8 guy, and I just haven't really seen that.
So the Cards schedule.
He's sort of middle of the pack. He's fine.
Yeah,
He's
very underwhelming.
border on good, but
very underwhelming.
he has the physical skills to be great, Connor.
He does, but it's just how many years did we see the same
I
thing
know.
over and over again?
I know.
Here's Arizona's schedule. The Seahawks defense, which went absolutely bonkers last weekend, they have them on the shorter week here in Week 4. That is Thursday Night Football. Then Tennessee, the Colts, and Green Bay before the bye.
So I misspoke, obviously, Week 5, that they have the Titans, so that gets a little bit easier there. Week 6 at the Colts. Then it's Week 7 home to the Packers. So it's a little bit of an easier schedule than I initially mentioned. I forgot the Titans game. I apologize.
Yeah, quick context as well. People might be surprised. Cardinals are underdogs at home to Seattle, which isn't a great sign for where that team is right now. Now, I understand they're banged up in the secondary, the Cardinals, but Seahawks are really banged up in the secondary too. I think Seattle's just a better team than Arizona right now. Yeah.
It's a pretty thin week on the waiver wire. Again, Trey Benson is the clear, shining star of that's the guy that you go and be aggressive to go get. But he's only available in about 48% of leagues. So about half the leagues out there, he's already rostered. And so if you are not able to get Benson, or if he's already rostered in your league, there's not a ton of running backs that I love, but here are some deeper league stashes that I think we're interesting there. So you see Benson obviously at the top of your chart there. We talked about Blake Corum on Monday, Connor, about just how explosive he looks. And clearly, given the fact that Kyren Williams has mistimed in every year of his pro career, Blake Corum needs to be there. Woody Marks, I think, is interesting. 49% of the snaps in week 3, only one fewer snap than Nick Chubb. It's been trending all the way up, and just to the eye test, he looks like he's got some juice in a way that Nick Chubb just doesn't.
Right, that no one else in this backfield does. They're just looking for any kind of splash from youth, and Woody Marks is a good pass catcher, and the Texans right now, they can't protect C.J. Stroud, where they might have to get some of those dump-offs working.
Ollie Gordon, I thought, Jay, looked good on Thursday night. Now, some of that may have been because, listen, Thursday night game, Achane had a big workload the previous week, so they may want to get, especially on the road at Buffalo, they may have wanted to get Gordon moving a little bit more because they didn't want to, just on a short week, give all that much work to Achane. But still, I thought he looked the part. And when they get in close, they're using him. He's got 75% of the Dolphins' goal-to-go rushing attempts this year, 67% of their red zone rush attempts. And I thought he looked good enough on Thursday night against the Bills last week that he's earned kind of probably a bigger role. Achane's still going to be fine.
Yeah.
But I do think Ollie Gordon needs to be rostered in more leagues.
Yeah, I think so. I worry a little bit that the Bills' rush defense just might not be very good, given what Baltimore did to them in week 1. And Baltimore haven't been able to generate much at all on the ground in the past 2 weeks, though, going up against a couple good run defenses. With Ollie Gordon, he's going up against the Jets, which is pretty favorable of a matchup. Game script. There's not that many games where the Dolphins are going to be 2.5, 3-point favorites. So this is a good matchup for Ollie Gordon.
Rounding out that list, Kareem Hunt. Look, nothing exciting here, but he's getting almost 50% of the Chiefs' running back touches through games, including all their goal line attempts. When they get in close, Kareem Hunt's the guy they use, and 46% of the team's running back touches through 3 games. Chris Rodriguez active in this game. I know that Jerry McNichols had the splashy run touchdown, and of course everyone loves Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, but Chris Rodriguez is involved in this offense. He actually led the Commanders with 11 rushes in week 3, including 2 goal-to-go rush attempts. It was a weird game where they got out big and then the Raiders made a run to make it a little bit closer than this. The game wasn't as close as the score indicated. The Commanders were so that may have affected that somewhat, but it's going to be a 3-headed committee. And McNichols looks like he's McNichols is probably the closest comp to Eckler in this offense, and Rodriguez and JCM. So it's a 3-headed monster, so Chris Rodriguez and Jeremy McNichols. Oscar asks, I have Kyren stock. Should I drop Tutin for Corum?
I want to see your bench, Oscar, that's the decision. There's no one worse than Bashal Tutin to drop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to drop Bashal Tutin right now, but if you have Kyren, Corum is one of the most valuable handcuffs in the entire league.
Jacksonville's schedule is also about to get a bit more real, so they may not be in run scripts as much. I do think, though, that, in a nutshell, I'd much rather have Tutin than Corum, but if you have Kyren, it's really just about injury risk, though. So
and he gets hurt every year.
Yeah. He does get hurt every year.
Blake Corum might have 4 weeks this year where it's thank God I had Blake Corum.
Yeah, I just think Oscar, I think Oscar asks a good question that just sort of a very quick general discussion about roster construction. Generally speaking, it depends on who else you have, but I would want to drop not almost anyone else, but ideally there's somebody else that you can drop for Corum while still keeping Tutin. You want to protect that LA Rams starting running back, but we think in terms of the backups, there may be no person that has as much upside as Bashal Tutin, given the explosiveness we've seen through 3 weeks. So
if you've got a Nick Chubb type, I'd rather drop him than Bashal Tutin.
And the other thing that I would say here, Oscar, it sort of depends on how deep your league is. My guess is it's not. I guess this is an 8 or 10 team league, right? But in a scenario where you're in more of a shallow league, I would not make this move.
Yeah.
Which is that, in essence, I'd rather kind of roll the dice that Kyren stays healthy all year, and then Bashal Tutin pops, as opposed to just sort of locking in. I'd rather roll that dice. But in a super deep league where there's kind of nothing on the waiver wire, I think I would rather have Corum because in an event where Kyron goes down and Tootin hasn't established a full-time role, then there's nothing you're going to be able to.
Sunk. Yeah.
You're going to be sunk. So it's a little bit of like sort of league context. And by the way, are you 2-1 and 3-0, or are you 0-3? Like also how patient can you be, or how aggressive can you be? So all those things go into it. When people ask questions, the more details you can give us, the better it goes.
Let's jump into the wide receivers here. We start with Darnell Mooney, who's still available in 55% of leagues because he started the season out injured. But Darnell Mooney is back, and as we see there, Jay, the target share, phenomenal, 11 targets in a game that the Falcons' passing offense was absolutely miserable.
Yeah, so the Falcons, who are a bit of a disaster at the moment, but from a fantasy perspective, they're a very easy team to understand in terms of their usage. Like from the receiving perspective, it's Drake London, it's Darnell Mooney, and it's Kyle Pitts. And then Ray McLeod gets cycled in for his Ray McLeod stuff. And then the running back, it's Bijan Robinson, and then Algier will come in every second series and take about half the work on that series. But with Darnell Mooney, I think it just comes down, Connor, to like, do you think that Michael Penix is going to turn the corner?
I do. I believe in the talent. Yeah. I think the scheme has not been great this year. I don't know what they're trying to do, quite frankly, for a quarterback that throws the deep ball really well. The offensive line has had some problems as well, and Penix didn't play well. There's no way around it. He didn't play well last weekend.
It was a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, like against Carolina.
Right.
That's the problem.
Who they just oddly don't play well against.
And what the craziest, like, it's one thing to not play well. I mean, like, he had no touchdown. Like, got shut out.
Right.
He lit them up last year when they played.
Yeah.
So why is this happening now?
They got shut out, and they're not going to do this. But the fact is in the post-game press conference, and so far this week, Raheem Morris has been asked, legitimately, are you considering a switch back to Kirk Cousins? Yeah. And regardless of what the answer is, to which Raheem Morris has been like, no, Penix is our guy. But the fact that that's a legit question, the fact that that's not some kid trolling, but that's like, you understand why they're asking that question. When you get shut out at Carolina, it's, it
brings up all questions. They fired their receiver coach this week.
I'm sure we're going to get into this in the next segment, but like I will tell you, I got cut in a guillotine league this week because I had, I loved my team, but Michael Penix was my quarterback. I'm like, Jaden Daniels is out. Somebody beat me to Mariota. So it's like, all right, Michael Penix, against Carolina. Should be able to get
me 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, should be fine. My 2 wide receivers, Malik Neighbors and Zay Flowers. Mm-hmm. My starting running back, Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Like, I got less than 20 points from 4 players, and that was all she wrote. Johnny Dangerly, definitely one of the regulars, asks Darnell Mooney or Cedric Tillman going forward. That's a great question. I think I'd rather Cedric Tillman, club said. I feel better about his role. I feel better about his talent. And weirdly, I feel better about his quarterback at the moment.
In the short term, that's exactly right. I think what you're worried about, and you can't think in long term in fantasy. Like, you probably have to win weeks right now. The problem is I have confidence that Penix and Mooney are going to turn it around at least the second half of October, where in the second half of October is Dylan Gabriel playing. Right. It's like what happened, the club said, well, they have a rookie third-round quarterback, and they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but don't you think, 1,000%, Flacco would be able to, if Flacco loses the job, it's going to be a downgrade. Although I will, they're 1-2. They're 1-2, and with a decent field goal kicker, they're 2-1.
Right. I mean, they might have the best defense in football.
Yes.
Like, I just watched that tape yesterday. I'm like, this is potentially the best defense in football.
And I would argue, again, like I said, like they lost week 1 to Cincinnati because of their field goal kicker. There hasn't been a lot that Joe Flacco has done where you're being like, well.
Oh, he's pretty bad in week 2.
The running interception was a comedy.
He was bad. I mean, he was outside of that. He's okay.
Yeah.
I still think
again, we're not in practice. We're not seeing what Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are doing right now. And so my point is like, I'm not sitting here trying to, all jokes aside I'm not trying to tell you that I think he's great. But I think you'd be hard-pressed. Again, we're not seeing what's going on in practice. But given on what they've done on the field so far, I have to believe that Kevin Stefanski believes their best chance to win is still with Joe Flacco under center, given everything we know so far.
Yeah.
It'd be weird.
Why make that move now? You just beat Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Most people think is a top 3 team in the sport.
1,000, and that's what I'm saying is, okay, fine, he was bad in week 2, but my point is he played well enough in week 1 that they should have won that game, and he played well enough in week 3 that they did win. Against what many people consider to be the best defense in football. Now, they're on the road at Detroit next week. So, a Detroit defense that just made Lamar Jackson look human, except for junk time, not that I'm bitter.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. But anyway, Johnny Dangerly, I would say Cedric Tillman. I get the thing, but like.
Right now I am absolutely. If it's a start-sit question, it's club set.
It's club set, but he's asking basically who would you rather have on your roster right now, and I still think club set because I just think that they're not going to. That if Dylan Gabriel becomes the starter, it's going to be because they think he's an upgrade over Joe Flacco in terms of being able to run this offense and pass. Because Stefanski wants to throw the ball.
Yep.
Like they want to run Judkins and set up play action, and so whatever. I got a soft spot for club set, and also by the way, Mooney, look, 27% target share in week 3, 91% route participation since returning, but like he still hasn't. It hasn't translated into fantasy production. He's playing Washington this week, which helps. Commanders allow the 5th most yards per game on deep passes, so hopefully they go to the tape and they fix it because obviously what went on against Carolina is brutal.
Our next receiver here, guys, Elic Ayomanor, 79% available. I've been begging people to pick him up
since the spring, no question.
Yes.
I got to give you credit. Yeah, you have been on this bandwagon from moment one.
He has taken over the wide receiver 1 role in Cam Ward's Tennessee offense right here, and I understand Calvin Ridley's still getting targets here, Jay, but the argument's going to be, well, Elic Ayomanor's productive right now because he's catching touchdowns. But as a prospect, what Elic Ayomanor does at his size is catch touchdowns, so that's the point.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple one. I've watched almost every snap of this game because I'm a big Colts fan now. Saints are dead to me. Giants have been dead to me for a year. I'm a Colts fan now. I need Jonathan Taylor to do very well this year. But watching this game,
the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints are done. No, they're done. That's a wrap. But being a Colts fan and seeing my division rival, the Tennessee Titans, 2 things. One, Cam Ward's good. Cam Ward's good right now. The way he uses arm slots and everything is extremely unique. He had the terrible pick 6 to Kenny Moore, but outside of that, he's able to move the ball against the Colts. And then the other thing, the simple thing is that Elic Ayomanor looks good. Calvin Ridley looks terrible. Ward has a rapport with Ayomanor. Ward is going to get better as the season goes along. There's too much talent there. He's going to get more comfortable in the offense. And look, the matchup this week's not great against Houston, but with Derek Stingley banged up, that defense doesn't scare you as much as it perhaps did at a different point in time. So yeah, I think Elic Ayomanor, the reality is he's the number 1 wide receiver for a quarterback with talent and upside who's growing each week. So I think he should be rostered everywhere.
Well, forget the touchdowns. More receptions than Calvin Ridley each of the last 2 weeks. You mentioned Houston and their banged up secondary, then at Arizona, then at Las Vegas, home to New England. So it's actually a pretty nice schedule here over the next 4 games. And, we always talk about Dwayne McFarland and his utilization score over at fantasylife.com, which is a number from the scale of 1 to 100 on how much they get used, in terms of route participation and target share and everything like that. And through 3 games, Calvin Ridley's utilization score is 57. Elic Ayomanor's is 60. They're using him more. Yeah. 4th round, they are using him more than Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, it's been something to watch. I didn't think it would be this early, but here we are. Elic Ayomanor is here to stay for that Tennessee pass game right now. Once again, 79% available. Yeah. He's most likely out there in your league. I would spend a good amount of fab on him. Trey Tucker.
Greg Lau says, mind your Ayomanors.
That's
Lord of the Ayomanor.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad.
That's a fantasy football team name. There you go.
We'll keep working on it.
Yeah.
Trey Tucker, a name you probably didn't expect to hear, but week 3, Trey Tucker.
Producer Adam thought it was funny, Greg. You had one.
Run. Yeah.
There you go. Adam liked it.
Trey Tucker, 96% available, 9 targets. We talked about this Raiders throw script, which was wild in week 3. 9 targets.
What are we doing, Commanders? What are we doing? Anyway, he was just burning by people. We talked about this.
He's got by 1 million points.
Yeah, he only got 17 points or whatever.
Yeah, I know. But still, it's just the same guy gets deep for 3 of them. At some point,
3 touchdowns is absurd for Trey Tucker. But here we are.
But on the season, he's got a 93% route participation. He's got an almost 20% target share. So he's out there. He is. We always joke about those guys that run wind sprints. He is literally running wind sprints.
The cardio king until week 3.
1,000%. But he has seen an end zone target in every game so far this year. 33% target share last week, and that should earn him more time moving forward. They haven't been able to get the run game going. And so the way the Raiders have moved the ball so far this year is on the arm of Geno Smith, and obviously Bowers, who seems less than 100%. He's gimping around on that leg. And you've got Jacoby Myers, but Tucker is their deep threat. And so it is going to be a little bit boom or bust. But playing the Bears this week at home, I mean, like
vulnerable secondary.
You can throw deep, especially assuming Jalen Johnson's not playing. I can't imagine he's back this week.
That might be the most ridiculous graphic we've aired the
Tre
entire
Tucker
year.
just lapping the
But
field.
it's like
of
Tre
NFL wide
Tucker by
receivers.
16 points
Yeah.
and wide receiver 2, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, had 1,000,000,000% more fantasy points than Ja'Marr Chase. Yeah, it's a little.
Oh, believe me.
A little absurd.
Let me ask you this: do you think Tre Tucker scores 40 points in the next 3 weeks?
Does he score 40 points his
Like
rest of his
combined.
career? No, he does. But no, I take.
I don't think so either.
No, I'd take the under easily.
Might take the under, but do I think like he's a guy that has that can make your week in one play?
Yeah.
And do I think over the next 3 weeks, do I think that there's at least one game where Tre Tucker catches a 60-yard touchdown, right, and winds up with like 16 fantasy points for the
Sure.
game, and it's like a
Amazing best ball player.
1,000%.
Wish
right?
I knew that in the spring.
He's like bad team Gabe Davis. Is how I
Yeah.
think of him.
We got another comment here, guys. This one from Derek Ryan. Tucker or Troy?
I assume he means Troy Franklin.
Yes.
Trey Tucker or Troy Franklin. It's
confusing.
I think that is a good question. I think I'd probably still rather Troy Franklin.
Me too.
I
Just because he had a slower week, he's still out there.
Yeah.
Like, it's
He still
not-
got all the snaps. He just
Yeah.
didn't get the production, but the underlying stuff was still there. So
Yeah.
Troy Franklin.
I think there's a
He's missing
scenario
a lot of
where
friends right now.
Troy Franklin,
Next
over the
is
second half of the year, that Troy Franklin is the number 2 person on that offense behind Cortland Sutton. I think there's a scenario where Tucker's 4th, behind behind Myers, Bowers, Genty, and then Tucker is 4th. So I understand the question. It's close. But against Chicago this week, I might start Tucker. Well, though Denver's home to Cincinnati, actually. But anyway, so probably starting Franklin. But yeah, I like the question.
Now we enter desperation play territory. Christian Kirk is 66% available. There's really hasn't been a lot to love about the Texans offense outside of Nico Collins, but
Christian Kirk is always 66% available.
and he did have 8 targets, but he doesn't even walk away with 6 fantasy points. I mean, I guess the question really for me is to you, Matthew, do you think things are going to get better for this passing attack that can't protect C.J. Stroud? And when they do, if it's not to Nico Collins, it just never really looks pretty.
Feels like it almost has to. I mean, look, this is more of a desperation. I could see him being, when we get to fantasy football pregame this Sunday in Dallas, Texas, by the way, Jay Croucher.
Yes, sir.
Myself, you, George Savaricas, and Lawrence Jackson will be in Dallas, Texas, at Texas Stadium as we prepare for Football Night in America. Of course, the game next week, Packers, Micah Parsons return to Dallas, but fantasy football pregame will also be on set next week. And when we do our desperation plays, I could see Christian Kirk being one of those.
You need 7 points?
Yeah,
He's
well,
the
listen,
man.
Titans bottom 10 in terms of most yards allowed to the slot so far this season. Again, he did get a decent amount of targets. Something has to give with this passing offense. Like
Does it, though?
Yeah.
It was bad last year.
I don't think they'll be able to run against the Titans. So I do think Kirk, it'll be his second week back. They've got to change something up, right? Because it's clearly not working so far. I will say, so after Tennessee, they're at Baltimore, and then they have a bye. I have to believe that the bye week is where they really try to, get everything fixed. Because it does. It looks like a disaster so far.
It does. I think there's still some shine on the C.J. Stroud name because he was so amazing in his rookie season and then balled out in the playoffs as well that year. But I think we have a year and 3 games of evidence that Stroud, like most quarterbacks in the NFL, probably can't overcome a poor context around him. Like the bosses in the NFL, like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, just put them out there and they will figure it out. Like if you put C.J. Stroud on Indianapolis, I'm sure he'd be fantastic.
Oh,
right
I agree.
Now. He'd be amazing. Yeah. But he's got a bad offensive line. He has 1 receiver and he has no running backs to move the needle. And I don't think this is going to get. I think it's going to get a little bit better because Nico Collins is so good and Stroud is better than this, I think. But I don't think this is going to turn the corner that much.
It's a new offense coordinator for sure, but there's nothing that makes you feel like it's going to suddenly be 2 years ago. No. It's going to be C.J. Stroud's rookie year. Just there's nothing there that, just in every week where they struggle, I feel like C.J. Stroud just gets more in his head.
Yeah.
Just gets more and
It's
more
spiraling.
of the yips. And, spiraling. Like, it just,
All right, before we move to Sterling Shepard, who's next on our list, got a little update here from Jenna Lane, who covers the Bucs for ESPN. Source tells me Mike Evans has a moderate hamstring strain, 3 to 4 weeks.
That doesn't sound moderate, I have to be honest with you. 3 to 4 weeks is what he had last year.
Yeah.
So this is a bummer. Mike Evans is on my team in our show league. We're going to get to that. But
well, at least you haven't had any injuries.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is just tough, obviously. Look, I think, and that brings us, by the way, to Sterling Shepard. Obviously, we know Emeka Egbuka. There's a chance that Chris Godwin comes back this week. There were rumors about that, so we will see.
He's coming back. Otherwise, they would have put him on IR. He's going to come back.
So insane.
Him and Wirfs are going to play this week. This was the strangest reporting ever. He's targeting week 6. Then why isn't he on IR? He's
right,
coming
just
back
save
this
the
week.
roster spot.
They're both going to play this week.
Yeah, super weird if they don't. But will he be on a limited snap count? I don't know.
Sure.
But the point is that even if Godwin is back, and of course we know Emeka Egbuka, but Sterling Shepard is now the number 3 wide receiver, and potentially in some sets he's the number 2 if Godwin doesn't play a full complement of snaps. He's third among the Buccaneers wide receivers in target share and route participation. 80% of the routes he's out there running. We like this offense. Now they're home to Philadelphia this week, but Shepard is going to be more of the slot guy. I don't love him as much outside.
Right.
I'm just saying if you're in a deeper league, you could and probably have done worse than Sterling Shepard. He doesn't have a ton of upside. He's more of a floor play than an upside play, but the injury to Mike Evans does open up an opportunity for Sterling Shepard, who is already playing more than I think people realize.
All right, so to recap, Matthew, your top wide receiver waiver targets, we broke down Darnell Mooney, who's available in about half of leagues. Elic Ayomanor is still almost at 80%. Check your league. If he's out there, there's a lot of players you'd probably drop for him. Tre Tucker, monster week, but there is a role in this offense. Christian Kirk, Sterling Shepard, some deeper ads, of course, Luther Burden. Tyquan Thornton got a lot of deep looks in Kansas City's offense.
He's got 53% of the team's air yards this season, the Chiefs do. Jalen Tolbert is likely to be Dallas's number 2 wide receiver while our friend CeeDee Lamb is out. He had 5 different games with at least 12 fantasy points in 2024. Parker Washington, very quietly, I don't know that he's great, but he did have a 29% target share last week. He actually leads the team in targets per route this season, with Brian Thomas Jr. struggling, with Travis Hunter's role sort of all over the place. It does seem like there's a little bit of a rhythm there between Trevor Lawrence
for him.
and Parker Washington. Tory Horton has now scored in back-to-back games. Obviously, he also had the return for a touchdown, a lot of speed. It's been up and down for Cooper Kupp. We know JSN is the lead of this offense, but their passing offense seems a little bit better as well. I think it depends, Jay, on what you're trying to accomplish this week in terms of, hey, do I just need a spot start? Do I, like Christian Kirk, we think has a decent matchup. Sterling Shepard potentially, But then, if you're like, no, I'm just trying to look for somebody to stash that could pop in the second half, right? And so, Luther Burden is somebody whose routes have increased targets and routes have increased every week. Played 31% of the snaps. I feel like it's only a matter of time. Or he's clearly the number 3 and potentially the number 2 in Chicago. Horton is another guy that I think. Tolbert would be more of a this week guy. Tyquan Thornton more of a this week guy. So it sort of depends on what you're looking for when you go to waivers, whether it's somebody you need just this week or just some bench depth that might possibly pop in a little bit.
Yeah, I think Horton's an interesting one because the Seahawks haven't played a normal game this season. They've all been weird. They never had the ball against the Niners in week 1. Week 2 was a game decided by Caleb Johnson not understanding the kickoff rules. And it was just bizarre interceptions that one. And they beat the Saints 100-0 last week. So it just wasn't a real game. So I think there are going to be more games where the Seahawks do have to actually drop back and pass a bit more. And it can't just be JSN for everything. It just can't be. You have to throw it to other people.
It might be.
Right.
Yeah,
No, I know what you mean. Teams are going to take them away.
Mooney and Ayomanor, by the way, are both starts for this week and potentially people that we think will do even better as the season goes on and they get more familiar with their offense. I'm told in my ear that we have breaking news.
We do have breaking news as we move to the quarterbacks. That's right. The Giants are making the switch. Jaxson Dart will make his career debut, starting debut on Sunday against the Chargers.
Bolt up.
Talk about throwing the kid into the fire.
He is a priority on the waiver wire for leagues where he's available. I will tell you, he is. I just think, Connor, what we saw in the preseason, the mobility he brings. I mean, listen, they've been running Russell Wilson. They've been running Russell Wilson in terms of how that Giants offense goes, where putting him on designed runs, and so Dart, which
looked great.
Yeah. That's the offense.
But it'll look much better with Dart.
That's my point.
100%.
That's my point. Is that designed quarterback runs are part of the offense that Brian Daboll is running this year, and so Jaxson Dart, who is younger, faster, looks more athletic than Russell Wilson does at this stage of his career, I think Dart is going to be a borderline top 12 fantasy quarterback.
Yep. How good do you think he's going to be from the get-go?
I just worry about the schedule. I think he'll be fine against the Chargers and the Saints, and then I just think he goes to the Lions' den with the Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, Niners. That's just where I look at it and go like from a fantasy perspective. The upgrade over Russ, I have no questions about. Russ is not throwing in the middle of the field. Russ is not the same athlete anymore that Dart is. So he's going to be an interesting one. I think he's really valuable in 2 quarterback leagues. I don't know if he'll crack QB1 territory consistently over the next 6 weeks. The Giants right now, they have problems bigger than this. And is Andrew Thomas on a pitch count still? Yeah. Because that matters a lot. Can they develop the run game with Scattaboo now that Tyrone Tracy is out? Maybe.
Tyrone Tracy's out for multiple weeks
When
now.
Teams take away Malik Neighbors, do you have an answer? Because you didn't have one against Spags and the Chiefs. It was like, oh, they took away Malik Neighbors. Well, now we can't do anything. But that can't be the case.
No, it can't be the case.
And maybe Dart helps those things.
I think that's the argument. You listen, Brian Daboll has to do something. He's 0-3. They're fighting for their jobs here.
And this is a desperation play.
And by the way, so Russ looked good against the Cowboys, but then Caleb Williams looked like, the second coming of
Brett
Tom
Favre,
Brady
yeah.
and Joe Montana peak, Patrick Mahomes. The Cowboys just might be, one of the bottom 5 defenses in the NFL.
They are.
I mean, I think so. So on Sunday Night Football,
Jordan Love better get going on Sunday Night Football. If he doesn't light up the Cowboys, there's big trouble for the Packers.
By the way, are you surprised I'm all over the place? But it's 47.5 is the line for Packers. I don't know how the Cowboys score against the Packers. No CeeDee Lamb. No CeeDee Lamb, and given
it's gonna be 40-8.
Is that what it is? Yeah, it might be.
I remember the last time. I think the last time Packers went to Dallas was that playoff game where they scored 1 million points and Dak threw 1 million interceptions.
I wonder what the team total is going to be for Green Bay.
They ran all over them in that playoff game. Aaron Jones was awesome.
What was it 47.5? So
it's 47.5.
7-point line. So 27-20. It's the projected final score by the market. That kind of range.
I think Dallas can get to 20 in that game. Green Bay's corners have been surprisingly good.
Yeah.
But the problem is, of course, no CD.
No CD is the issue. So I think
can Javonte Williams keep the run game going?
I don't think so. I don't think he can.
The Browns were able to run on them, and I mean, listen, Jalen Torbell's not terrible. He's not CeeDee Lamb, no one is, but it's not Anyway, Pickens could get deep for one. All right, maybe.
Jackson trouble.
We'll talk ourselves into it.
For entertainment
I got a week.
purposes.
Yeah, of course.
You guys are going. You have to talk yourselves into this.
Listen, it's going to be an amazing atmosphere. Micah's return, it's going to be unbelievable. There's a reason. NBC isn't stupid. There's a reason why we're all going there because it is a game of that importance. It is that big. I think everyone is, disappointing obviously that CeeDee Lamb won't be there, but it's still going to be an incredible atmosphere. And Dak Prescott is playing awesome. The Cowboy struggles are not on Dak Prescott to me.
He's been fun.
He lost CeeDee Lamb. Anyway, back to Jaxson Dart here. I think Jaxson Dart is, again, in a super flex league.
Yeah.
I think Jaxson Dart is similar to Trey Benson, which is if he's available, this is a blow your budget. This is use your number 1 waiver pick. I think Jaxson Dart is going to be that good fantasy-wise. I think the jury's still out on terms of how good he will be in the real world, given all the weapons around him and what he does and does not have. But yeah, I think Jaxson Dart's going to be a really good fantasy quarterback. And again, only in a 2-quarterback league or a super flex league. But I do think because I don't know that there's going to be another quarterback that comes into the league that has that kind of upside.
No, when Gabriel or Shedeur start, they don't run like him.
No, I mean
that's.
Yeah,
Tyler Shuck isn't going to be doesn't have the athleticism.
Yeah, if there's Mariota would be up there if for some reason Jaden Daniels was going to miss a significant amount of time.
Doesn't seem like he will.
It doesn't seem like he will. I will, however, speaking of that, breaking news, just got this in. Speaking of the Commanders, the Bleacher Nation Fantasy app is awesome, by the way, and it just gives you all these alerts. It's a free app. Adam Schefter
is building.
Adam Schefter is reporting Terry McLaurin, Washington wide receiver, uncertain to play Sunday versus Atlanta due to his quad injury per source. Still seeking more information about the injury, but Terry McLaurin now his status is in doubt. We don't know if Jaden is back officially yet, and now McLaurin might be out for my Commanders.
Here's a question for you.
Sigh.
I think this is one of my better questions.
Yes, sir.
Say in Superflex you've been starting Russell Wilson. You don't drop him, right? What if the Giants trade him somewhere? Or do you think that he's not roster worthy anymore? Because he obviously is not playing this week.
Obviously.
But they have Jameis if they need a backup. The Giants should trade Russell Wilson.
The Giants should absolutely trade Russell Wilson. They should trade him to Cincinnati.
100%.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins.
2 bad games away
We'd never be more back.
being viable. Yeah.
I think I might hold if I can. If he's just obviously after the deadline.
It depends on what you have, but no, I don't hate that. There's enough quarterback needy teams out there. Could Cleveland make a trade for him?
No, it doesn't
I think
make any
they're
sense.
just going to ride it out with all the young guys they have.
think
They already
so?
have enough quarterback headaches to figure out.
They're 1 and 2. I mean, maybe they're.
I got Joe Flacco.
What about Minnesota? If J.J. McCarthy, do you think they think Russell Wilson's an upgrade over Carson Wentz?
I don't think it moves the needle.
Probably not.
Might not
I think
move
it's
the needle.
Cincinnati. It's Cincinnati or bust.
Cincinnati's season is still there.
They're 2-1.
They're 2-1.
Yeah.
They're 2-1. Does Russ pack his bags and go across the city?
No. Stop it. No.
Wow.
They could have signed him. They signed Justin Fields.
I know, but now.
I think Tyrod is better than Russ.
All right. Wow.
It's close.
Wow.
Wow.
Russ isn't good anymore.
Right, I mean, is this hot of a take?
No.
All right, let's get to the next quarterback here.
It's not
I totally
that hot of a
derailed the
take,
show.
but
Nice job by me.
it's usually what I do. Yeah, stay in your line. Stay in your lane. I don't know. But didn't Aaron Glenn open the door? Didn't he not commit to Justin Fields?
Because he likes Tyrod.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They don't
Maybe he
Russ.
likes, but not. He didn't know.
It's not
Russ was
let's ride
available.
territory in Florham Park.
on.
Let's go to
You've
tight
lost
ends
them, Matthew.
for people that need
Might have
help
to be
here.
an emergency episode of Badlands.
Or worse lands, which people are still waiting for.
Yes.
A lot of questions about worse lands. Tight end waiver targets for week 4. Brenton Strange, Chig Okonkwo, Isaiah likely working his way back from injury. Dalton Schultz makes the list. And then the rookie, Orande Gadsden here.
Yeah, he was targeted on 47% of his routes in the season debut last week. Gadsden. The Chargers don't really have a tight end. Disley hasn't really stepped up, or Conklin. So Gadsden, who I always liked at Syracuse, talented player, so he's getting a little bit more. We talked about Brenton Strange. Just, listen, if you need a tight end, go get yourself some Strange. At least 59 receiving yards in 2 or 3 games this year. As we've talked about, Travis Hunter, playing time inconsistent. Brian Thomas, they just can't seem to get on the same page there as well. We went so much on Jaxson Dart. Real quickly, Geno Smith is the other. If you need a quarterback this week, Geno Smith is available in over 72% of leagues. And then, we're waiting to see whether Fields and Daniels come back this week. But there might be another week of Marcus Mariota against the Falcons another revenge game for Marcus Mariota against the Falcons
Every week.
every week.
Every week you got one.
When do we play Tennessee?
Yeah.
Philly's on the schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
They end up playing Oregon somehow. We don't know how this happened. It did.
Exactly. Anyway, but Mariota and Tyrod Taylor at Miami. Tyrod at Miami would also be pretty interesting, too, if Fields can't go this week. Or
Miami giving up 29 points to quarterbacks in fantasy per week. That's a lot of points.
So maybe you get more. Anyway, if you picked up Mariota and Tyrod this week, maybe hang on to them just to see,
what happens.
if you can get it. You see your waiver targets there. You got Geno. We mentioned Mariota and Tyrod. Jaxson Dart available in 95% of leagues. And I would move him over Geno Smith. To me, I would, if I needed a quarterback this week, if I needed a quarterback for the rest of the season, give me Jaxson Dart over Geno Smith or any of these guys this week or for the rest of the year.
If you're looking to make an IR stash, keep an eye on Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Coker, and Tajay Spears, all working their way back from injuries. And of course, if you watch today's show, you probably have to drop somebody. No secret here. You could drop Joe Burrow. It's going to be a long time before we see him again. CJ Stroud, they just can't get it going through the air. Tyrone Tracy's going to be out a couple weeks with a shoulder injury. Joe Mixon, there's no timeline there. It feels like Caleb Johnson hasn't been effective enough. He just doesn't really play on regular offense. Braylon Allen is a non-factor in the Jets offense right now. And Evan Ingram's been hurt, and when he was playing, he wasn't really doing anything as well.
Yeah, so anyway, welcome to Dumpsville Population U. One question for you. When you say Braylon Allen's been a non-factor in the Jets offense, how do you tell that from the other players in the Jets offense?
That's a good one.
Oh, wow.
Just asking.
Savage.
Don't worry, we have plenty for you on the next segment. We'll talk about our fantasy league as we head to break here. When we're back, we got a Monday Night Football recap, Ravens, Lions, and an update on our fantasy league right after this.
How to coach, how to win a football game. Is that right there, the MO, is that the DVD?
Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. I guess it would be pretty close to that. But it was also, this is the type of game. This is the type of game that was needed for this opponent. Not everyone is going to always be the same. Some games it takes more explosives, you know? You got to get more explosives than it does just true groundwork.
That was Lions coach Dan Campbell, and boy was he right. It takes some explosives. The Lions win 38-30 in an absolute kind of shootout on Monday night.
Oh, this
really,
game was brutal.
This game was awesome.
What do you mean? It's a great game, man.
No.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, you looked at it from a different perspective than I did.
Look at Sonic and Knuckles, your favorite players.
I looked at it from the perspective of needing Jared Goff to throw at least one more touchdown pass, or Zay Flowers to even have just 40 receiving yards.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was just a weird fantasy game. Listen, Montgomery obviously was amazing. Just needed him to go down on that last touchdown run. Like,
Jared Goff was hoping for it too.
No, I know. Go down,
never
run
go
it
down.
out. Yeah, and no.
Goff corrected himself in the post game.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah,
he was like, I was actually wrong.
Yeah, you should score there. Because the Ravens had 3 timeouts.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just, I'm looking at it from a purely selfish fantasy football point of view.
Happened?
But, well, you can get into that. But
let's get into it right now.
now.
How's your fantasy team going? League of Ourselves, Matthew.
The two-time
How many wins
champ.
do you have in 3 weeks?
I don't have a lot.
Oh no.
I don't have a lot.
no.
to
I
be
finally
honest with
lost.
you. Look, I
Let's
I
explain
lost.
it away. Explain it away.
No, I mean, look,
0-3.
I
Stinks.
it's what's hilarious is that with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter, I had a 94% chance of winning.
Yep.
I had Derrick Henry and Sam Laporta. Denny had Lamar Jackson. And you can see the standings there. I'm 0-3.
Yep.
I'm in last place. Now I'm like I have more total points than 4 other teams.
Here we go.
I'm leading the league in points against. But your record is your record. I am 0-3. Listen, I lost Xavier Worthy in week 1. I lost Mike Evans in week 3. Derrick Henry has been bad the last 2 weeks. Chase Brown's been bad the last 2 weeks.
It's on you.
Drafted a bad team.
Jane Daniels was hurt
draft,
last week.
When did you draft better players?
Healthier
Why'd
players.
you use
so
our
what'd you
waiver
say?
advice? We
Hold
spend
on.
an hour every week going over waivers.
I will.
So you said 94% win probability in the fourth quarter?
In the
You know
fourth
what
quarter.
the beauty of fantasy is that doesn't confirm wins or losses.
No, it does
and
not.
And it doesn't feed families either. Win
No.
probability has never fed families.
No, it
Doesn't
doesn't.
pay the electric
sucks.
bill at all.
It's a terrible team.
I clearly. I mean, I'm 0-3. Thank God I won
0-3 and not much hope.
No.
Not much hope.
No.
There's not a lot on the way.
No.
Meanwhile, my
I'm
team's
sure
an
the
absolute
Bengals'
juggernaut.
offensive line will get so much better for Chase Brown.
I mean, it's brutal, right? I mean, like again, right? Yeah, I mean, I lost Evans and Worthy in the first 2 weeks, and Jane Daniels.
And claim to lose George Kittle, even though he's not on your team.
I mean, I'm
Why don't you
out
make
of
a trade?
IR spots. What?
Why don't you make a trade?
I offered you Brock Bowers for Derrick Henry.
I mean,
taking it.
You talked so much garbage. I don't know if anyone will make a trade with you.
Probably
in the league.
not. I don't blame them.
out of spite, I would.
Look. I deserve all this. Bring it
Don't
on.
come to you. You're not gonna make
I
the
have no. I have. Look, I'm gonna watch the tape. We'll get better.
Yeah.
We'll learn from
There you
this.
go.
We're gonna grind the tape. But it is. I mean, like I've had some bad matchup luck. I've had some bad injury luck, and it just guys haven't performed. Some of the guys I drafted just haven't performed.
You know what the worst
You want to say
thing-
Chase Brown was a bad draft pick? Probably right, I guess, at this point, right? He's been bad for 2 weeks. The Bengals' offensive line has looked brutal.
Your big issue too is that my team's an absolute juggernaut.
Yeah, it's good.
It's unstoppable. It's
probably
I feel
bad.
like I don't want to. Like everyone is playing for second. Everyone's playing for second. It's
a
basically
great team.
It's a bet on health. I'm the Buffalo Bills with
Yeah.
Detroit's offensive line. Like it's scary. I got Quinshon Judkins and Daniel Jones on my bench doing nothing. Tucker Kraft can't get on the field for me.
Yeah.
You guys should make a trade.
Yeah,
I don't need anyone else. I have all the good players.
In theory, I have a decent tight end in Sam Laporta. I mean, it's just anyway. We'll talk about this game real quickly, and then we can circle back to this. But I don't know that there. Listen, you're starting Montgomery and Gibbs every week. It was just awesome to see them do this to Baltimore and that Ravens run defense, which I use in quotation marks there. To me, I think the big story here is the pass catchers of the Ravens. Mark Andrews going off, 6 for 91. And the 2 touchdowns with a 22% target share, under a 9% target share in the first 2 weeks. This is the most receiving yards in a game since week 17 of 2022. And then, of course, Zay Flowers, just 2 for 13. Nice game from Rashad Bateman. This is his 10% target share was the 4th lowest in a healthy game so far this year. Saw press coverage Zay Flowers did on 34% of his routes. Dan Campbell talked in the post-game press conference about that was one of their focal points, was not let Zay Flowers beat him.
Yeah.
So I think better days are ahead for Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews is an obvious sell high. It's nice to see him sort of back from the dead, but Mark Andrews is back to what we thought he was at the beginning of this year, which is a touchdown-dependent tight end. I don't think the 91 yards are indicative of anything coming soon, but
Isaiah likely will.
Yeah, he's a
might hurt his role though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a high-end wide tight end 2 to me. Like he's in that 10 to 14 range where he's sort of like touchdown dependent. But anyway, an incredible performance from the run game. I don't know that you can. They were so effective running the ball that the Lions' passing attack just didn't get going. They didn't need to,
right?
As well. But just want to tell you, the Ravens' run defense drinks for free.
Boy, do they
because you delivered a lot of fantasy victories for everyone that had Gibbs and Montgomery on their fantasy teams. They just ran all over you guys. Like run defense should be in quotes there because it wasn't actually a defense.
Last thing, any concern about Derrick Henry and this Ravens run game? They've done nothing for 2 weeks. That just didn't happen last year.
No. I mean, yes, but I just feel like I'm just not willing to bet against them. I think they'll get it going again. But man, the fumbles have been
fumbles
the
are very
the fumbles. I mean, that's what
shocking.
That's ultimately like. And again, we were on the group chat, and I was up against Denny and winning, and then when Henry fumbles on my team, -2 points, and then all of a sudden now they're in throw script, and Lamar gets the, by the way, touchdown. I'll tell you something just real quickly. Real talk for 1 second. So I'm in 31 leagues. And this week, no, this is true story.
You were in 32.
I was in 32, right. So I'm in 31 leagues going into this week, and I went 26-5 in those 31 leagues.
I don't need this.
No, this is a true story. 26-5. And that's amazing, right? 26-5. Like, I had one of the best weeks of fantasy, and yet I'm depressed this morning because I lost to Denny. I lost in another league. I was winning big, and then this person started Mark Andrews. And you're like, anyway, right. And so I lost by 3 points to that person. And I got cut in 2 guillotine leagues because I have a lot of the same players. I had Zay Flowers, Malik Neighbors, and Chase Brown on 2 different guillotine leagues, and I'll die. And so it's just 26-5, and I'm depressed, and that's what fantasy does to you. It's like I don't care about the 26 wins. I'm bummed about the 5 that I lost, including
it's all about
Denny. Congratulations to Denny.
We're taking our last break. When we're back, early line alert returns. Our favorite side
Sucks
totals.
To be me.
Way ahead of week 4. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly and $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV. Just download the Sportsbook app, use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
The crown is yours.
The crown is yours.
Time for last call, early line alert. We try to get a jump on the weekend's games or even Thursday night football. Guys, for me, this is a quick one. Give me the Browns getting 8.5 points. I love this Detroit Lions team, but I think the Browns defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. That is a big, big number. I think the Browns can cover the 8.5. Jay, what do you like?
I'm going to take Colts-Rams over 49.5. Fully bought into the Colts as a top 8 offense.
I'm going to take Seattle getting 1.5 on the road against Arizona. I get it's a short weekend on the road, but they are so much of a better team. Arizona is a fraudulent 2-1. It is closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Go get yourself some Jaxson Dart for Jay and Connor. I'm Matthew. By the way, at least my Gibbs bet cashed last night. All right, I'm just saying. Peace out.